and pure air is the, in a certain sense, is the beginning of our practice. What we do before starting to do anything else. And we have been looking mostly at the breath and the posture relative to the breath. Now we dedicate a little time to the body. So we do some warm up for the body. And the first two movements of the 8 movements, they have something in common. They are both standing, and they both have a movement, a position of the arms that is pretty much the same principle, not the same really, but is based on the same principle that is also very, very similar to how we move. Being in all 3 of these exercises to really help the body to have a full, coordinated, complete breath. Because we don't have holding after inhaling in the 9 breathings. We have only a holding after exhaling, what we call an empty hold. When we inhale with the 9 breathings, we don't have that. As soon as we inhale, we should smoothly enter into exhalation. But before that, what we're trying to do is to really open up the breath, opening the sides, the rib cage, so that we can really feel very thoroughly our respiration. The first of the 8 movements for a long inhalation, long but of course should be also full, should be also starting from below and have all the qualification of a complete, nicely done fluid breath. Actually, this is a fluid breathing, is long and direct. So after that, we have a phase of open hold. And the next movement is the movement for open hold. And so for the same reason, the movement of the inhalation should try to prepare at the best in order to allow a properly done open hold. And this again is achieved by the movement helping opening up the rib cage. Because the lungs are inside, and if the rib cage doesn't open, it's not so easy for the lungs to expand. But if you create space, we open up the rib cage, then if you are breathing nicely from below, then you can really let the lungs expand, and then we have a deep and smooth breath coming in. That's what we want to do. That's what we want to train. Because in general, in the 8 movements, we have a rhythm to coordinate all the phases of the movement. And the rhythm is the count of 2. Now, count of 2, it means that generally we consider the rhythm being based on the heartbeat of a person, normal, in a relaxed state, without too much tension. The normal heartbeat of this person should be the guiding aspect of the rhythm. Of course, sometimes it can go a little more, a little less. We cannot be like mathematics. For example, when we did the video, I think that we set to do it like 52 or 54 to 60, considering a second. So slower than a second. So in the 8 movements, generally the base is 2, in the sense that we inhale for 2, we exhale for 2, Sometimes we have phases that are 4, like in the first of the 8 movements. Sometimes there are 2 holdings together, and this becomes 4. That is not super important now. But just to say that after this, after the 8 movements, when we start practicing the yantras, the basic aspect of the breath, the rhythm is 4. So it's longer. But when we do the 8 movements, doesn't mean because it's shorter, we cannot have a nicely complete inhalation and exhalation. Of course we can. The 9 breathings are also a training, no? We train through the 8 movements. Not only a different kind of holdings, but also the breathings. We have a long inhalation at the beginning and long exhalation at the end. In the middle, the exhalation is not so long, but doesn't mean because it's long, it's not so long, shouldn't have the right qualities. Of course it should. So we have starting to see the fluid breathing yesterday, the other session, connected to the 9 breathings, exhaling 9 times the stale or the pure prana. That is the base, the fluid breathing. So the first one of the 8 movement is training that. Long and direct inhalation. As I said, the movement of the body that can help us to achieve that is important because it's the way that we expand the rib cage to allow this breath to expand. So when we are talking about these movements, as with the 9 breathings, they are not kind of rituals or just because they look nice, but they have a precise function. So if we understand what is supposed to happen through the movement, so we can understand also how we can make that movement help the breath at best. Because of course, if you do the 8 movements, and that is their characteristic, by doing the 8 movements, because of the shape of the body relative to the phase of the breathing and all this, then the purpose and the work of the 8 movement is to shape the breath, the holding, the breath. All the different aspects of the breath are shaped by the movement. And maybe we also do a couple of exercises to see how altering in a position, even if it's not in movement, a position, altering simply the position of one part of the body can change what is happening with the breath. Of course, I already said the breathing is in the lungs, the air in the lungs, but the effect is moving in different way. What is happening, what we feel, the expansion, it influences different things. And that's where we can see, I can understand that if you want to have happening, that precise holding, that is the most important aspect of the practice of the movement, and actually, in a sense, of Yantra in general. If you want this to happen in the correct way, we should prepare how we enter into this in the correct way and how we go out of this in the correct way. And then really that movement can work at their best. Otherwise, if we do it a little distracted without really applying and try to understand the precise way of doing it, not necessarily is happening. And sometimes, if you alter the position and the movement too much, something totally different might happen. So this is important to experience so that we understand that trying to do precisely the movement is very important. And to do the movement not just without life. The movement should be done with presence. We should be at our attention in the movement. And when we do that, and when after some times we might become more accustomed, more trained, and then the rhythm itself becomes kind of natural. You don't have to think too much and count, but you start moving with the rhythm. The rhythm is the breathing. The rhythm is the movement of the body. And all the rhythm, the movement, and the breathing, they are one thing. They move together. And when you can do that in the presence of this movement, then really the practice of yantra is very good. Also before, there are always some benefit, but if we can really get to this point, that's where really you can feel the real essence, the substance, the real pleasure of practicing. Okay, so we go back to the body. I said that the movement, what the arms should do, is pretty much similar. So, as the first aspect of the warm-ups, we do that. We do something for the arms. The position can be whichever you feel comfortable with, that you feel balanced and comfortable. I tend to keep something under my buttocks because it helps me be sure to be really with the back straight. Because having the back straight is very important. That is something that also our teacher, remember, was always saying, no? Rinpoche. That somebody who practices yantra, you recognize because they sit with the back straight. And actually, many times when he was saying this, and then you see some people who are like this immediately. They straighten up the back, like caught somehow distracted. Okay, this is the back straight. And then we can do this. We grab with the wrist or with the arm near the shoulder and we stretch a little. Breathing normally. When I say breathing normally, mostly try not to hold the breath. Because sometimes, especially if we have some tension, we don't even notice when we are distracted. And very often we block the breath and don't even know it. But now, at least when we are trying to do some practice of yantra, we should try to stay on the breathing. Be sure we don't do that. Nothing can substitute training. Nothing. Desire, many things don't work. Only training can change the patterns. Change our habits in something more wholesome and coordinated. So now we are doing the other side. And now a little further and stretch also like this. And then the other side. Now you grab the wrist and stretch. Then change, stretch. If you like, you put one hand on the floor and stretch also like this. This also is helpful because, as I explained the other time, feeling the stretching of the sides is a sign to try to have the position correct. Then the other side. You don't have to try to go. You have to try to stay straight and stretch, feeling the sides being lengthened. Now, like this, back. You push this one between the shoulder blade. The other side between the shoulder blade. This hand. Now this, again, now the hand between the shoulder blade, but now you stretch the elbow. And if you want to sure maybe your lower back is not folding, then this hand you put back, but not trying to put it up. Just put it around. Then the other side. Stretch very well high, very well up the elbow. Because that's what should happen. Now I'll show you quickly. Remember, this is the 9 breathings, the position. This would be the position of the second movement. You see, it's pretty much the same thing, very, very similar. In both these two movements, the indication was to bring the elbow really, really up and stretch well the sides. And in the first of that movement is like this, that more or less the principle, as you see, is pretty similar. Okay? Just to show a little bit that they serve the same purpose, this position of stretching the side and opening. Okay. Now these ones exercises more or less should be okay. Then maybe you shake a little bit the arms like this. Okay. Now we do something for the neck. Because the neck is always involved in many things, and it is better to try to pay attention to the neck. Be sure we don't force, if we don't do something that could be a little strong on the neck. So in order to do that, again, we do this first testing. So you try to go to the side and see without forcing, and see where the neck is going. Don't push it. As soon as you feel the resistance, you stop. Then the other side. Again, as soon as you feel resistance, you stop. Then put your wrist on your head, on the side of the head, the crest of the Kapala, the skull here. Don't try to push it or this, just here. And then don't try to push down, just use gravity. Let the weight of your arm, of your hand, bearing on that, and just stay breathing normally. We have to stay a little while to work nicely. And then lift it up this way, lifting the up, but not without forcing, and just remain above the head, like this. We keep it there for a little while. Warm-ups, there are warm-ups in movement, warm-ups static, and they both have some important functions. So we generally do both kind of these warm-ups. Now we switch the other side. Breathe, relax, don't block the breath. Then above. Okay, we could stay a bit longer, but should be okay. Now try to do the same as before. Look if something has changed. Generally, the change is pretty significant. It really, you feel your neck so much without tension and ready to move nicely. Okay, that's for the neck. Now we did something for the arms. Now, even if it doesn't look, but in order to be sitting, we also have to work the legs, the knees, and the back. And so we do a little bit of that. We get our foot first like this and shake. Don't move the foot, but you shake it. You leave the foot limp and just shake it. Breathing normally. Then the other side. These small exercises are really good. They really keep the joints going. And then if you can, we do both. A little bit of balance is another important element. It stimulates nice functions in the brain. Movement and balance. Then, like this or like this, the knee, the same thing. You don't move the knee and keep the hands there, no, but you keep the leg limp and then move it. the other side. Okay, now we shake. And now we go on the ground. We lay down. There is many more warm-ups we will do in different ones, but these one are the most essential. Maybe one more we can do is this. First bring toward the chest and then down. If you want to coordinate it with the breathing, inhale and exhale. Okay, then we do this then. You put the feet together. If you can, you come closer. And then we very gently bounce. There are different theories of the how to do warm-ups and stretching. But one is pretty much understood that is quite correct, that when we do stretching, we should never push too much. If we, with effort and pushing, can get to 100%, then we have to back off to 80 or 70%. Not keep this maximum tension. That is not good. Some, but not too much for too long. Here, you can do the fist and help yourself keeping the back straight. This is very important. Always keep the back straight. Okay, so now we go on the ground. I like to have a little something under my head to avoid finding myself too much open and so a little bit like what we saw the other day in the 9 breathings, the setting of the neck straight nicely. So also when you're laying down, we should try to have the same setting of the neck, not abandon backward. Yes. Okay. Yes. First we exhale, inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. This exercise is the blessing for the lower back. It's really very good, very helpful. And it's not difficult to do. Inhaling, exhaling. Then we shake a little bit. We shake a little bit leisurely. Maybe we can also make tremble, and then we can again make tremble this way. As you see, they're all very simple. Then we do one that we also use to see how the experience of how the breath is expanding changes with a slight change of the position. I think is important. So we understand we cannot arbitrarily change some position in that movement because we think is better or because you feel is easier. Well, we can adapt a little bit sometimes, but we cannot just do something that really changes. And so it's interesting to have this experience and seeing that it can happen. Changing a position just a little, and the way the breath is manifesting is different. So first we bring our knees to our chest. And then we roll to one side. Completely roll, and then open up the arm. After I will show something on the chair, but now I want to do the small sequence together. If this position is really difficult for some people, then you can put something, for example, here, and then it's immediately more easy. Sometimes also maybe in between the knees can help. Or simply you can also put your hands at the side. It's not necessary to try to push the head to the other side, even if you prepare the neck. Not really, just you can look straight ahead at the ceiling or the sky. Depends where you are. So now in this position, we take some deeper breath. Always from the nostrils. When we are talking about smooth breathing, direct breathing, indirect, whatever, it's always from the mouth. Sometimes we exhale from the mouth, from the nostrils. Sometimes we exhale from the mouth, but otherwise we inhale from the nostrils. So we remain like this and breathe from the nostrils. Now and then take a deep breath. And especially when you take a deep breath, try to feel somehow where is the expansion of your inhalation. With the other hand, you can try to keep your knee down against the other. So try to notice where you feel the expansion, how it is, where and how. Without wanting to condition anyone, but probably what you feel is an expansion in the lower part, under the sternum. All the abdomen to the sides. Okay. Now let the arm down. Easy, normal. Without trying to straighten on anything, just. And now breathe. Especially when you are taking a deep breath to understand and see better, experience better, you see how now is really different. Now you can feel the air up on the back, still originating down, but has changed how it moves, where it expands. And what we did, we simply changed the position of the arm. And now we change again and we take it up. Again, relaxed way, no need to push it. And now you see it change again. So much that when you inhale nicely moves your body. Pushes your chest forward. And slowly, slowly, while we go through the attunement, you understand why understanding this is important. Because according to the kind of holding we have to apply, we should breathe in a way that helps that holding happen in the precise way and in the precise place. So how we inhale to prepare for the holding is very important. Okay, now we have to switch. So go down, roll to the center, and then roll to the side. And open up the arm. Don't keep the knees very low. The knees you should try to keep up, higher. So also this is better we experience these things. So you try to keep your knees higher and breathe. As usual, now and then take a deeper breath so you see better. And now lower the knees. You see the breathing has changed. Now it's going almost below the lower part of the belly. But if you do this, we start in the upper part of the abdomen and moving. Now you bring your arms down. Breathe from the nostril, normally. Now and then, deeper one. And this position is very good for the back. And as you see, especially when you take the deeper breath, we help the expansion of the rib cage. But in this case, with the position and having a deeper inhalation, we help the rib cage to expand. So we are training for helping what should happen with the movement. Now down. And up. So now, with this exercise we did, we are prepared both a little bit the body and actually the breathing, because this exercise, besides being good for the spine and helping opening the chest, because it's doing that, and the way of the dynamic that creates, is also very good to open the breath and to help the breath starting from below. So now, rolling to the side without effort, we will sit back in a position that you find comfortable, and we do the 9 breathings. Okay. I wait a moment so that everybody can find a comfortable sitting position. In the meantime, the one already sitting comfortably, breathe. And observe how is the breathing. Hopefully it's fluid, starting from below and smoothly moving up. So now we do the 9 breathings. Remember, when men start with the right hand side, women with the left, we do a couple of inhalation and exhalations. And then we go. Start inhaling in the belly, in the abdomen. Move to the side, move the elbow up. Close the nostril with 2 fingers and exhale. Grain of barley. Then empty. A moment. Still empty, go to the other side. Have the movement help you to inhale well. Exhale. Empty. The other side, inhale. Remember, if you can, put here in the belly, go here to balance it, then lift the elbow up as much as you can, stretch well the sides, close the nostril, exhale. Empty. The last time to the side. Now inhale in the center from below. Then start exhaling in the position. Then move forward from the navel, bring the elbow close to the side, keep the back straight. Exhale thoroughly. Remain a moment empty. Then come back. If you remember, also you have the visualization of inhaling and exhaling. And then we remain for a couple of breaths. Okay, now we are going to see the first of the 8 movements. But before, I want to show on the chair a little bit of the warm-ups we did before. The one that are done on the floor, I suppose that everybody can lay on the floor, shouldn't be complicated, but maybe the one for shaking the feet and these kind of things, I can show on the chair how to do. Guess it's not too complicated to figure it out. We do like this. We do like this. If you want to try, you can do like this. Then we do like this. And we do like this. And then you can do like this also. Maybe you can go a little back. Without pushing, gently. And of course, the 9 breathing, you sit straight and as I said yesterday, if it's possible to keep the feet a little higher, then it's better. And it helps to having a more coordinated breath. Now, I have to change a little bit the setting of the camera. Okay. So, the first Viet movement is done standing. We have to keep the feet parallel and straight, not necessarily rigid now, but keeping straight, not locking the knees. And if you want, we can also do this to be sure that we are nice and straight with the side line stretched. And then first I show you the movement, and then how it's done. Is done 3 times. So, the first part of the movement is to bring, for men, the right hand at the right arm, for women, the left hand at the right arm, just above the elbow. The fold, when you fold the elbow, the hand is above, and even if it's not written in the text, we have done to keep this thumb on the inside, and the other one too. And in doing this movement, you should inhale and getting at the level of the chair, of the shoulders with the crossed arms, nicely straight. Now, many people end up doing, and is not correct, like this. No, because if we do like this, as we have seen in this movement we just did on the floor, is changing. Maybe if somebody doesn't have a clear experience in working with Yantra for some time, maybe it looks the same, but it's not really the same because it changes the way the breathing moves. It really changes. Seems a little thing, but well, no. Now we try together. Now do it like this, suppose it the wrong way. So probably if you observe, you see that you're bringing pretty much the air up in the upper chest. But if we start grabbing the arm before, when it's still coming up, you see that favors more starting from below nicely and moving up, more coordinated. So please, try to remember that. Try to not do this, but to start going toward the arm when it's still moving, it's still down. And then the last part, of course, comes to the chest. So the movement is like this. Okay, then exhaling, we let the shoulders go down, the arms above the ridge. When we do that, also we open up the chest nicely. And if we do this movement with a little bit of presence, for example, keeping your attention on the shoulders and the arms moving down from the shoulders, you can help the air starting exhale from the top. That is something that we apply in the 9 breathings. In general, the way we should breathe it like this, inhaling from below up and exhaling from top to bottom. But it's an idea. Some people don't know how to do that. Some people, I said already, they're trained to do something different. But we can use the movement, we can focus our attention in movement so that with the right mechanic, it helps us starting to exhale from the top so that you are ready, more ready, to inhale from below and come up nicely to the chest without blocking the air in the throat. So you have the intention to start exhaling from the top, and the movement can help you to do that. Because you finish to exhale very nicely, now it's easier to start exhaling from below, because this last thing that is going, and because it's doing with some presence, the movements are not done like this. Not rigid, but there should be present, there should be something vigorous, some intention, some vigor in the movement. Not distracted, are movement that should have some life in it, some presence. Relaxed, but present. So no tension, but energy. So, inhale, then exhale, and now inhale slowly. And go above the head like this. We have done all this training, these things, with the purpose of being able to do that easily. Okay. Now, how to go up? The rhythm should be in the movement. So it means that the rhythm should also give the pace. This is 4 counts going up, but 4 counts are not like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, because we understand we went too quickly. The rhythm should have a coordinated pace. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So you start 1 here, start from 0, and with the same pace, you arrive at the top at the 4th count. That's really how it should be. And also the breath should follow the same pattern. Also the breath should move inside this rhythm together with the movement. This I'm just explaining for this movement, but any other movement is the same. The yantras is the same. That is a very peculiar aspect of the practice of yantra. So it's important to be the rhythm, be the breath and the movement. So inhale, exhale, inhale slowly, always from the nostril. And now here we have open hold. Open hold, it means that we are suspending the breath, but we are not doing anything with intention. We are not closing, trying to forcing something. It's the opposite. We try to open up the space, this space that we are trying to open up with the breathing, the upper chest, because the open hold, what we feel it when we do the head movement is in the chest. We feel an expansion of the chest. And this expansion should be without control, without blocking anything, not closing the throat, nothing. Leave it open. That is the open hold. It's like you are expanding the space inside to be sure that doesn't contract. And for this, what is helping to do that is the position and what is called Chunse. Because when you are up there, now you have to really tense the body. And of course, especially the arms should tend and move upward. And you should feel, as I was telling you about the 9 breathings, the position that we are preparing, the position of the arms, you should feel a continuation of the stretching of the side, not pushing back, not going forward, but try to stay on the lines of the side, keep stretching. If you do like that, if you do it only with one arm, and you put a hand here, then you see what is happening. You see the rib cage come out. If you go back, closes. If you go forward, closes. If you go up, opens. And because you are pushing really high, also the elbow, don't let go, but the elbow is really like this. At the end, also help keeping the upper part of the chest open. So while the air stays inside, relaxed, having a nice space to just spread, then through the tension of the body, we allow this to happen. So it's somehow counterintuitive, because we are tensing strongly the body, but the breath remains open and relaxed. And that is exactly what should happen. And if we do it correctly, is what will happen. The tension of the Chunse helps keeping the held air open, relaxed. If you feel closing, and you might feel closing when you exhale, because you go, now I did it exaggerated, so it is evident, but even if it's small, still, this it means there was something close to be open. If it was closed, it was not open. But one way we can understand before that, if you are holding open or not, when you are in this position, even if you are alone, doesn't matter. People don't think bad of this. Talk. Say something. You go in Chunse after inhaling, stretch and say something. Whatever, 1, 2, 3, whatever, doesn't mean anything. Just talk to yourself. If you can talk without effort, it means you are not blocking your glottis, otherwise you can't. Because you are like this, you have to do like this to talk. If you stretch and try to stretch also strongly, the sides, the arms strongly. And if you can talk, you are certainly when we are holding in open hold. Okay. Then after the open hold, we have to exhale in 2 counts. And remember, in the yantra, in the 8 movements, the movement follows the rhythm, not the other way around. It's not that because it's 2, and now you go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. No, this is 2. The movement is longer than this, and then should go quicker. 1, 2. More or less, by 1 we are here, by 2 you're down. And then the next one, inhaling and exhaling, you go slower, because it's not so much to go with the movement. Okay, so this is the 8 movement, the first of the 8 movement. I do it once, and then we do it together. I tell you what I'm doing. In, out, slow in, open hold, out, in, out. Okay. Now, wherever you are, try to get the feet parallel, open, not too much, not too close, not going whichever way. Maybe don't see very well. A little. Okay. Okay, let's go. I lead you. 1, 2, 3. In, out. In slowly. Open hold. Chinzel, out. In, out. In, out. In, slowly. Open hold, out, in, out, in, out, slow in, open hold, out, in, out. Okay. I think that for today we finish. Every day I think we do one movement. We repeat the one we did before. We prepare it. We see something about other warm-ups and things like this. So slowly, so we are sure that we understand precisely the best that is possible to do this movement. And then I also have time to show on the chair. For example, now, this one, on the chair is really no different than standing. Most people, if they cannot sit comfortably on the ground, but still standing is not, but sometimes some people cannot. There are people that also know this possibility. And so we can do it on the chair. And of course, on the chair is exactly the same. It depends on the kind of chair, because the chairs are all different. We see the chair, but the chairs are not the same. Some chairs are And like this, these are not very good where you sit. This one is a very simple, but is one of the best actually. And some chairs also have this wood here. That for something is good to raise the feet. This one doesn't have it. But sometimes I give the advice of hooking your feet inside the leg of the chair, if it's a kind of chair like this, because in this way you are nice and parallel and you don't move too much, too strangely. And then we are like this, arms along the side, inhale, exhale, inhale slowly, open, hold, Chunsel, out, in, okay. For example, this is possible, very easy, possible to do also on the chair. Regarding this movement, either on the chair or standing, very often the tendency, because it seems that everything already happened. And so sometimes, like, okay, I finished. This is very common and it is a bad habit. The way we finish is preparing the next inhalation. And the next inhalation is preparing the hold. So all the phases, every movement are 7 phases. All the phases are important. So we have to try to give some presence also in this, not only what looks like the real thing in the center. No, also this should be done nicely. And if you have to keep some control on the arms, not leaving abandon and double like this. No, still some control, not rigid, but control. Going out, and somehow you feel a slightly stretch. If you do this, you will notice that bringing nicely the air up in the chest, but spreading open is easier. So you train nicely the breathing and prepare correctly for the next phase of the movement. Okay, for tonight, I think is enough. Thank you very much, everybody. See you Saturday, I think. Yes, probably. In 2 days. Okay, good night.